Hey guys, Kyle here with a Preacher's Perspective, and just wanted to share something today that I think is going to be a blessing to a lot of people. I know it's been a help to me, and I'm excited to share it with you. All of us at one point or another, if you've ever had to prepare a message or a lesson or something, we've all faced the blank page before. And when you're trying to get started and trying to work things out, figure things out, so that you can put together a lesson, a message, and that can be overwhelming. I know for me, every week I'm preparing a new message, multiple messages each week, and to just start with a blank page oftentimes can be somewhat overwhelming. And so I've tried some different sermon builder softwares, and I have found one that I think is an awesome balance for just everything that you're looking for when it comes to building a message, building a sermon. And I've used a number of different ones throughout the years, and I'll talk about some of them in the video, but I have used Sermonary, I have used Logos recently, and the one that I'm most excited about that I want to share with you today is one that's called Preachup, and it's one that's not very well known, and I think it can be something that can be a real blessing to a lot of pastors that maybe didn't even know that something like this existed. And so with no further ado, I want to share this with you, and I hope that it'll be a help and a blessing maybe to a few pastors that are looking for something to take it from a Word document to something that's going to be a little bit more exciting, a little bit more enjoyable when it comes to building sermons. So I hope you enjoy.
All right, so this is the home screen for the Preachup sermon preparation software. And as you're kind of looking at it here, you can see that I have all of my sermons that I have in here saved into folders that are here. Right here, you can create your new message, and then there's some links here at the top. And then this box right here is actually so you can communicate directly with the creator of the software. And Philip is his name, and he's very responsive, and he will take into consideration the things that you mention, improvements that you might think. If you have any issues, he's on top of it. And so I really appreciate having that access. I mean, just right there on your home screen. I'm going to talk at the end. I'm going to compare it to some of the other softwares that are out there, or programs that are out there for message preparation, and I'll get around to that. But I just want to show you on here some of the things that I really appreciate, some things that I really like about this program. So from the home screen here, just a couple of quick things. Obviously, this will take you back to this screen. Also, if you click on the Preachup logo, it'll bring you back here. But you can do browse, and whenever you click on that, it's going to open up this, and it's going to break down all of your messages. You can assign topics to, what books they were preached in, chapters that they're out of, people that you're referencing, places, the calendar of when you preached it, where you preached it. It's got it all broken down like that. And so, if I need to recall a message that I preached from somewhere, but I don't remember what the message was, I can go right here and I can look and see what that message was by just simply pulling up the location. Super great tool that you can use when it comes to message preparation. Gaps, I think that there's still some things that they're working through with this, or maybe I just don't totally understand it. This shows you basically books that you've covered, and ones that you've referenced, and ones that you haven't. Now, like I said, I don't think this is 100% accurate, because I know that I have not, in the time that I've been here, covered completely some of these books. Now, I have some of them, but others I have not. So I don't know that this is 100% accurate when it comes to that. And maybe it's just a misunderstanding of the actual program. But that's what that is. And then here you get your three dots. You can download the mobile app. You can go to your account. You can import sermons, which is really handy. So if you've got messages that you've actually written in a Word document, you can upload them directly into this. So all of your messages that maybe you have saved in Microsoft Word, if that's what you've used before, you can import them right into this program. But I do want to point this out. The account feature, you can go in here and you can actually select which Bible program or which Bible that you want to use for your references. And that's important, because you'll see here in a minute that you can refer directly to messages and just click on it, and it just comes right up when you're preparing your messages. So that's an awesome thing there. You don't have to go through and choose it every time. It's just a preset. And then obviously your subscription here, and they have one setting. It's the Pro setting, $12 a month, which if you have used Sermonary or Logos, it's far more expensive than that. And with the tools that they have, it's definitely worth it. Now, I know he did have a free program before, and I don't know if that's still available or not. I've been on the Pro for some time, but he did have a free platform where you kind of just get started, and then the $12 just gave you additional features to that. All right, so going back to the home, if I'm starting from scratch and I want to create a sermon, I can click on here. I can create a sermon title. So just call it the test title. I can assign when I'm going to preach it. So let's say I'm going to do it this Sunday, and I create it. Okay? And so you see here, when it opens up, it automatically opens up to some key points and some things like that. And so from here, you can go in and you can assign your message title up here. That's what's up here. And then you can go through and then all of this basically functions like a Word document. And so, I can go in here and I can put, this is the first point. And you can see, okay, and then whenever I go down, you can see that you're here. If I want to put a sub point, I can click on that and automatically brings up my sub point. If I want to change that to just a bullet point or a number, I can do that as well. I have options to bold, underline, strike through it. I can change a highlight color to it, and that goes for your large points as well. You can go in here and I can change that color to blue, let's say, and it changes it to blue for me. If I want to change my font, I can highlight it. I can click on this one. I can change it as well, and it changes all of those things. Very handy if you like to color coordinate your sermons like I do, and that's a tremendous blessing there. And so that's the way that works. It's pretty standard. There's nothing super special about that. Now, as I mentioned before, when I used Sermonary, one of the things I really liked about Sermonary is the fact that it had blocks that you could just move around. That was a handy part of it. But outside of that, there really wasn't a lot of extra things that really made it a software that was really helpful for preaching. And so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to actually go back to my main page. I'm going to select on a message that I preached just a couple weeks ago and bring this up here, okay? And so if you're taking notes, if you want to write it all down, you can, but no. But on this one, you can see I've got my text that I use, title for my message, and then you can see I've got it all broken down here for the message. And I use quite a bit of notes whenever I'm preaching. I manuscript the whole thing. Now, obviously, as I'm going through it, it's I may not be reading everything, but that's what you have here. But I want to show you a couple of really cool things about this. So first of all, you can go here and you can select your details. And right here, you can see, okay, the date that it was preached, where it was preached, and then this is where you put your tag in for if you want to go back and refer to it. So if I wanted to the message on faith, I can put faith in there. And then whenever you go to your topics on the main screen, home screen again, you can go through and you can look at all these different topics, messages preached on that, which is really awesome. You can click on history, and it's going to give you a sermon snapshot of some of the message that you've done. Archives is just basically throwing it in the trash, which I obviously don't want to do that. All right, and then you can share it if you want to share the message as read only. You can certainly do that as well. And you do that on Facebook, Twitter, or you can email it, which is an awesome tool. And then ultimately you can print it. So if you like to actually have a physical copy, you can print it. And I will, I'll talk more about that in just a second. But those are just a few of the tools that you can use there. Now, I want to show you one of the key reasons that I love this program. I think this is such an awesome program. In fact, this is something that they just added, and so I'm super excited about this. It is a huge help. Right here, you can click on this highlight keywords, and so whenever you click on it, it's going to open up. Give it 1 second here. It's loading. All right, perfect. Now you can see all these boxes around these different words. This is really handy and really helpful. The reason that they're highlighted is because now I can click on that word, and it's going to bring up his name, Herod, and I can click on it, and it's going to search the whole Bible every time that it is mentioned. You can look in what books that it's mentioned. You can look in various translations if you want to. You can look at related verses, and it's going to bring up related verses to Herod. You can look up stats about it. It's been preached 200 total sermons in the Preachup program. It's a 95% popular. It's just an awesome tool. Obviously, we just went through Christmas, so a lot of people probably talked about Herod here recently. There's a ton of tools that you can use here. Same thing. After that pulls up Afterlife, so you can go through and you can see all these different topics. You can search about it. Again, same thing. Stats that you can look at. And then this is the other thing, is you can go through here and you can find a verse. So 1 Kings 19, I talked about. You can read the verse. You can quote the verse, which if I click quote the verse, it's going to quote the entire passage. Okay, which obviously I don't want to do that. But you can go and you can do that. Go back down here. Click on Psalm 37. I can research the verse, similar to what the other one is. It's going to pull up a bunch of cross-reference passages that are similar to Psalm 37:7, and it is awesome. Just an incredible tool to use in that way. So there's a bunch of things like that is just super handy when it comes to preparing your messages. And the thing that the reason I love that so much is oftentimes when I'm preaching a message, let's say, maybe I'm getting down to the end and I'm making an application for the message, and coming down to the end, and I feel like, I'm missing something. I want to drive home this point a little bit more. You can click on these verses and you can research the verse. You can find other verses that are similar, and maybe you'll find a cross-reference that drives the point exactly what I was thinking, and I didn't even think of that before. And it's an awesome tool to be able to just research the scripture and support scripture with scripture as you're preparing messages. And so I love that aspect of this, and it's just an awesome tool when it comes to that way. Scroll up here to the top, and then you can toggle it back off if you don't want all those boxes as you're writing the message and things, just to keep things clear for you. Now, let's talk about a couple of things about it. Whenever I prepare my messages, I like to one of the things I love about this program is they do have the option that you can download an app on an iPad, or you can download it and you can download it on your cell phone, and you can edit it directly on either of those tools, or whether it be an iPad or something else, an Android phone or whatnot. You can go and you can actually edit it directly on those tools, the iPhone on the iPad or whatever you might use. Awesome thing that you can do. Now, whenever I preach, and maybe this is just a funny thing for me, I like to swipe through on my messages, rather than scrolling top to bottom like this as I'm preaching. I like to have a page at a time where I get to swipe through. And on the iPad, I preach from my iPad, and if you preach from notes, then you can print it off, and it's not a big deal for you. But for me, I like to swipe through, and they do have the option on the iPad where you can go through and you can read through it, you can study it without making edits or anything like that. You actually have to press another button to go in and to edit it. So you can actually use it without editing the document or the message while you're preaching. You're not going to have a keyboard pop up in the middle of the message while you're preaching or anything, unless you select the button to edit it, which is a really nice thing. You can also enlarge the font, which is another awesome tool, something that obviously is super helpful if you want the font to be larger as you're preaching. I mean, what an awesome thing to be able to do. But it doesn't have the option to swipe left to right. Which is something that I use. It's something that's super important to me. And so what I always did is I would always go here, print the document, save it as a PDF, and then I would open it up and on my iPad in iBooks or one of the other PDF softwares that allowed me to swipe from one page to the next that way. And so that's one of the drawbacks, I would say, and I've reached out to Philip about it, and I think it's something that he's going to add, where you can swipe from one page to another. But right now, that is something that's not available. Now, as far as comparing it to other programs, as I mentioned before, I have used the Sermonary program. It's a great program, but I feel like the references and the cross-references that are built into this program make this Preachup so much more valuable and so much more usable. It's an awesome tool. And just a couple of weeks ago, my church was gracious and gave me a subscription, or gave me the Logos Silver program. And for any of you that know what Logos is, that's an incredible gift, and something that I never dreamed that I would have. And so I was given that, and to me that was just an amazing tool. And so I'm somewhat in the process of transitioning over and trying to use that. But in total honesty, and that's an awesome tool when it comes to study. I mean, I don't think there's anything that compares to the Logos software, having everything just right there at your fingertips, the resources and everything right there, the word studies. I mean, it is an incredible tool. But I will say this, for the sermon builder portion of it, and that type of stuff, I think this program does just as good when it comes to the sermon builder side of thing. I'm not talking about study. Obviously, study it's on another level. But when it comes to building a sermon, I think the Preachup program is as good as anything that's out there right now. And whenever you factor in the cost, I know I got the Logos program at a discounted price of $850 through our church, and just because of a sale that they were running. When you compare that $850 to $12 a month subscription here, this is going to be a lot better option for a lot of people that are out there. And so if you're looking for something, maybe you have just always used a Word document, or like I did before, using the Pages document and just uploading going from there, and find out a good PDF reader and things like that. Maybe you're looking for something that's going to help you with building your sermons. I would highly recommend give this a try, test it out. Number one, it's great for organizing messages and things like that. You can look at all of your messages at once if you want to. But this, I've got them broken down into folders. As I'm preaching through the book of Mark, verse by verse, and if I click on here, you can go through and you can see verse by verse as I preach through that. Just an awesome tool when it comes to that type of thing. And the cross references, to me, is what makes this just invaluable. In fact, I was going to show one more thing very quickly before I wrap up here. But if you go back up here and you highlight the key words, you can actually go in your study, and if you find something that is a location, maybe let's see if I can find one here. Let's see. Yeah, it's not. I don't have anything in this one that's going to be a location. So if you have a location, you can click on the box just like you would any other time. You can click on that, and you can actually pull up a map of that location, which is also a really cool tool as you're studying. That is a study help. That is something that's going to be helpful as you're going through and as you're preparing your message, to be able to look up a physical location of what it actually looks like. And so all of these things, to me, here we go. Let's do this. Sin, because I know it's going to pull up a map because there's a place called Sin. So anyway, obviously you have to have a little bit of intelligence what you're working through. But here you can see. I mean, here's a map, and it's going to show you. Okay, this is where Sin is, okay, as the location. And so it's just kind of a cool tool there. Obviously, as you click on it, there's a lot of cross-reference stuff that you can go through. You can search the Bible, and obviously this is searching in another language. It does have, obviously, in Spanish. You can see the different versions that it's available in. But you can see, I mean, just an awesome tool as you go through, and you can see all these verses that have the word sin mentioned in it. Just an awesome tool. And so I hope that maybe if you're considering looking for a software or program that's going to help you with preparing your messages, give this a shot, give it a try. I know it's going to be a tremendous blessing to you. I am not being paid for this. I'm not reimbursed. I really have no motive other than I want to be a help to someone, and I hope that this is a blessing in some way to someone that's looking for a Bible program that can help them take their message preparation to the next level, take them beyond just opening up a blank Word document and starting from scratch, but actually having something to work through, work off of, and to hopefully make your message preparation a little more enjoyable as you're going through that each and every week as you prepare your messages. All right. Well, hey, thanks for sticking with me through this, and I hope that somebody find this valuable and be able to use this awesome tool as you prepare messages and as you preach God's Word.